So for the second consecutive week, all eyes are going to be on Jordan Love's health once again. All last week, there was the possibility, at least from Matt LaFleur, that Jordan Love would be able to play. That didn't happen. Malik Willis gets the start, and things went more perfectly than I think pretty much anyone could have imagined. And now, a week removed from Jordan Love's initial injury, we still don't really know when he's going to be back. A lot of different reports out there. Could be back coming into the Titans game. Could be back the following week. Maybe it's against the Rams about 3 weeks from now. And so in the meantime, however long it's going to be till Jordan Love does return, can the Packers remain undefeated with Malik Willis? If we look at this Titans game, that's the following game coming up on Sunday. I think it's a very winnable game. The Titans are currently 0-2. And if Jordan Love misses this one, I still think the Packers have a very good chance against the Tennessee Titans. They just have not been great to start the season. 23rd in points allowed. But when you look at some more advanced stats, 8th in EPA per play allowed, 10th in EPA per pass, 13th in EPA per rush, 10th in rush yards allowed. So there's no doubt that the Titans are not as bad a defense, I would say, as the Indianapolis Colts, who got completely shredded on the ground week 1 against the Texans with Joe Mixon, and then got completely shredded again this past week by the Green Bay Packers. So I would say the Titans do have a better run defense than the Colts, but I still think you look at how dominant the Packers' offensive line was, the blocking scheme, you look at how effective Josh Jacobs was, breaking tackles, getting extra yards, 31 carries, 4.7 yards per carry. Even though the Titans have a somewhat solid top third run defense in the league, I honestly still think the Packers are going to be able to take advantage. And I would say the main reason I'm still confident if Malik Willis starts this game, the Packers can win, is because the Titans' offense has been sloppy, not very good. Will Levis, 25th in passer rating, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And one thing the Packers have been very, very good at the first 2 weeks this season, which is a drastic shift from last year, is forcing turnovers. Last year, the Packers had 7 interceptions total. They already have 5 through 2 weeks. So that shows you the improvement they have made when it comes to forcing those turnovers. And with Will Levis and seeing some of the throws he's made the past couple weeks, I think the Packers could tie or even have more interceptions through 3 weeks than they had all year last year with Joe Barry after this next game against the Tennessee Titans. So I think this past week we saw what happens when you hold an offense to 3 points for a majority of the day. When you force 3 interceptions, it allows the offense to consistently rely on the run. The Packers were never in any kind of situation where Malik Willis had to really put the team on his back when it came to really needing to push the ball down the field passing. And that could happen more the next couple weeks, but I still think this is a game the Packers can control, even if Malik Willis starts. And then the following week, if Jordan Love is not back versus the Vikings, that's, I think, going to be the toughest matchup Malik Willis will face, and just as the Packers team overall will face against the Minnesota Vikings, who are better than the Colts and the Titans. And so if we look at this Vikings team, they beat the 49ers 23-17 in week 2. They beat the Giants 28-6 in week 1. So far, they have one of the best scoring defenses in the NFL. Third best scoring defense, 11.5 points allowed per game, 18th in yards allowed, 5th in EPA per play allowed, 9th in EPA per pass allowed, 9th in EPA per rush allowed, and they have a top 10 rushing defense, 8th in rush yards allowed. So that's going to be a tougher test, no doubt, and their offense has been humming, 8th in points per game, 11th in yards per game. Sam Darnold coming into Minnesota has been better than I expected. He's currently 5th in passer rating, 3rd in yards per attempt, 5th in completion percentage over expected, 11th in EPA per dropback. So my question with that game is, if the Vikings are able to put up some points, which I would expect because they have a really good offense so far this season, can the Packers keep up if they're not able to consistently rely on the run? If they get down 7 points, if they get down 10 points, can the Packers become a passing attack, and can Malik Willis sort of handle that kind of situation? Because that's something we still don't know if he can handle. When the Packers were able to run the ball consistently, he was doing well, passing the ball 12 of 14. And so in that situation, I'm still uncertain as to whether or not he can handle it. I would guess, based on what we saw, that he can. He seemed to be pretty efficient, was pretty accurate, And so that's just sort of an unknown, I would say, against that Vikings game and that Vikings team. But I think all in all, it's pretty crazy to think that now we're sitting here, and I would say, myself, I would say a lot of Packers fans are a lot more confident in this Packers team without Jordan Love because of what we saw mostly in the running game. If Jordan Love misses the Titans game, I think the Packers win that. I think they can beat the Vikings. And so if the Packers get to the game against the Rams, and let's say that's the first game Jordan Love comes back, again, it could be earlier. If the Packers go 2-1 or 3-0 with Malik Willis, that's a massive victory, because the second you see Jordan Love go down, you think, oh man, if he's out 3 weeks, what if the Packers go 0-3 and they're sitting at 0-4 overall when Jordan Love returns? That's just a tough hole for any team to get out of. And so the fact that right now the Packers are 1-1, they're in a great spot right now. And I would assume the Packers are somewhat, more willing to sit Jordan Love out the following week just because of how well it went this past week. So it's going to be something to watch as we move into this next week once again when it comes to Jordan Love's health. But I do think the Packers can go undefeated with Malik Willis, 2-0, potentially 3-0. I don't think it's that wild of an idea. But if you would like more Packers content, feel free to follow me on Twitter at LukeBeller3. You can also subscribe to the channel down below, and I'll see you guys next time.